Yes, guys, welcome back to DR Sports for another Live at 5 transfer news show for you at home. Myself, AGT, joining me on my left, I have the social mastermind.
I thought you were going to call me Bobby Charlton there.
No,
that's good.
Mate, I was going to pick you up. Well, I did pick you up, but then you just did that. So,
yeah, well,
how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Arsenal have made a signing.
Well,
a big signing.
Potentially some more.
No.
As well, that some hashtags have been generated out of.
Hold fire.
Bruised Banana.
Yes.
OG.
Yes. Not
Nice.
real, but
not real.
as you can see, the fake Adidas
to be
has
fair, it
fallen
looks
off.
more real that's come off because it looks like it's
Well,
from
there you go, then.
1988 or whenever it's from. But yeah, smash that like button, people. What have we got in the show for you today? Well, we've got Spurs. They want Morgan Gibbs-White. Let's see how that goes down. Arsenal's finally signing Christian Norgaard. There's a Rodrygo update for you as well, Arsenal fans. And Bournemouth wanting Petrovic, as well as Napoli, allegedly not even wanting Garnacho. But let's let's dive straight into this one, shall we, people? Let us know where you're watching from. If you want a chat read out, obviously, you know I like to go in the old freebies and see what's in there. But if you want your super chat to be read out, you know the score as well. Jack. Spurs. It was David Ornstein's tweet just not long ago that said Tottenham Hotspur turning the attention to Nottingham Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. Tottenham head coach Thomas Frank are allegedly a long-term admirer of the 25-year-old, and Spurs were trying to convince him to join if a deal can be agreed. Ins and outs at Forest. Really exciting time to be following them with Europe coming up. Obviously, they would have preferred for a Europa League or... Wait, they're in the Conference League in the end, aren't they?
Depended on Palace.
Depending on Palace. See what happens there.
See what happens.
But if they trigger that £60 million release clause, it looks like Spurs could get their man. 25 years old, as we know, England international. What's your thoughts around this one? And it obviously shows a big sign of intent from Tottenham as well.
Yeah, well, for Forest, that's Elanga and Gibbs-White going, which is not an ideal stuff for them. But with Spurs... It's nice that they're showing some ambition. I think a lot of Spurs fans that I know have been saying, we won the Europa League, qualified for Champions League, and it was like, right, we've sort of like saved ourselves here, now we need to build on it, and they've not really done anything yet. Yeah. So it's nice now. Kudus, sort of quickly wrap that one up onto Gibbs-White, and then where he plays, not quite sure, but a player of his quality, you can't really turn it down if it comes up.
Yeah, and obviously Thomas Frank has been having a look at him for a while. I mean, he would fall under the category of like James Maddison's position at Tottenham,
yeah,
but going
Maddison,
into the Champions
Kulusevski.
League, you need two in every position.
Yeah.
I think long gone are the days where you can just sit there and go, we've got our 10 for the season.
Yeah,
you need either 1 10, 2 10s, 3 8s.
Yeah.
You've got to have that depth, especially as they've managed to somehow find themselves in the Champions League.
Yeah, because I mean, they're going to have Maddison, Kulusevski, Kudus, Son, Tell, Odobert, Solanke, Johnson. They're stacked. Richarlison. They're kind of stacked now,
they are.
which is the opposite of my club. So I mean, good on them. It only takes a couple of injuries and you're down to bare bones. So I mean, they'd probably rather have a lot more than a lot less.
I think Son will leave. Richarlison will probably leave. Yeah, I think Son will leave.
I think Richarlison will leave.
Yeah, I think he'll go. Don't forget they've got Danso there as well. I don't know if you even mentioned him. Marchie Gray plays in midfield as well. But where do you find, if you were, let me phrase it this way, if you were Morgan Gibbs-White, and obviously Tottenham are coming in for you, bear in mind that Man City were very keen on him during the starting phases of the transfer window. If you were him, would you not be like, shit, City were in for me a couple of months ago, and with all due respect to Tottenham, I know they've just won a trophy, but you go from title challengers to top 4 challengers. I suppose he's been challenging for the top 4 last season, but overachieved, didn't they, in the end? So if you were him, how would you be feeling right now?
I think it depends what Spurs can pitch to him. Like, if they can sit there and say, we really think we've got top 4 this season, like, here's what we're going to do in the rest of the market, top 4's on, and then we actually think we can challenge for a cup, and we think Premier League's a few seasons away, then great. But it depends whether they can pitch it. Because like you say, 25 years old, he's still got time to sort of weigh up his options, see where he wants to go. There'll be a lot of clubs interested in him. It's just whether anyone makes that move. Because when you saw it with Kudus today, it came out that Spurs were sort of the only club that made an offer. So sometimes you get lucky with that, and if they can pull that off, that's a great signing.
Yeah, Sami Mokpel at the BBC said the 25-year-old who scored 7 and added 8 assists in 34 games last season has obviously attracted interest for a number of England's top sides in recent months. We know that Man City's radar, he was on it earlier, but they've called their interest. Forest, though, on their side of things, they're actually under no pressure to sell. Having already sold Anthony Elanga for 55 to Newcastle this week, that's been agreed. I mean, obviously they're getting loads of money back in and they can reinvest that, and we know that they are good with their scouting, and Edu's there now, director of football. So if you were Forest right now, would you sell for 60? I mean, the release clause is there. So
is it a firm release clause?
Yeah, Tottenham have triggered it.
Oh, well, in that case, then, I mean, there's nothing you can really do. But, I mean, you at least try and you sell the project. You say, look, we're in Conference League. Wait and see what happens with Palace. We could be in the Europa League. We've got a good thing going here. We think we can push up. We think we'll be ahead of Spurs. If you can, there's no reason for him not to stay. They're a massive club. See, they love him there. So, look, if you can tempt him away, you can tempt him away. But I think equally, Forest have a shout of tempting him to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone over to Sky now to see what their coverage is saying. Thomas Frank obviously looking to bolster his attacking options. 60 mil, does that seem around about the fair price?
I thought it'd be a bit more than that. You look at sort of mid-table-ish teams at the minute. You're talking Eze 65 mil, Kudus 55, Elanga 55. Gibbs-White has got to be around the 65 sort of upper bracket of that. What was Cunha? 60, 65?
Yeah.
I think he's got to be in that upper bracket. If that's what the going rate is now for that sort of echelons of player, then I think he's got to be up there.
You say that's the going rate, but obviously Man City did manage to bring in Ryan Cherki for a fraction of that, half the price.
That's your Premier League tax, though.
It is the Premier League tax, but if City didn't get him, then I think Morgan Gibbs-White would still be on their radar. But they sorted themselves out, so the goalposts have changed a little bit. But for Tottenham, it's a signing that definitely obviously adds depth and quality. But are we starting to look at Tottenham's transfer window now, and we starting to think, wow, they're putting something together here? Because we can make all the jokes, and we have made all the jokes about Tottenham in the past,
and we will make all the jokes,
and it can continue with joking about Tottenham. But trying to take that away from a sec, you've got a new era here with a manager who is serious. Everyone rates him. There's no one that thinks he's a joke manager or loses loads of games. Like, he's a serious manager. So how seriously should rival fans look at Tottenham and think, shit, we better buck our ideas up, because they're coming with a new identity, new manager, new bounce, new players. It's looking promising, isn't it not, for Tottenham at the minute?
Yeah, I think making a statement is equally as important. You get a lot of players that come in, and when they get in the door and you see it all over Sky Sports, you think, wow. And sometimes you can go and spend like 40, 50 million from players from abroad and get these sort of new progressive managers. It doesn't really do that. And I think when you're Spurs, having a disastrous season but winning the trophy at the end, they need a window that everyone's going to look and be like, not only did they save themselves, they've kicked on. And I think bringing in Mohamed Kudus is wow. Arsenal looked at him, Chelsea looked at him, he's gone Spurs. Gibbs-White, City looked at him, one of the better players in the Premier League, he's gone Spurs. Thomas Frank was a manager that everybody rates, and he's gone Spurs. So I think it says a lot for their window if they can walk away and everyone's looking at them saying, wow, they've actually not just survived last season, they've kicked on.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what the plan is, really, to kick on. So let us know in the chat, Tottenham fans, Nottingham Forest fans, if you're a Man City fan as well, who maybe was looking earlier on in the window at Morgan Gibbs-White. Today is the day where Tottenham have registered their interest, and it looks like they get their man. And that is on the same day that they've also agreed a fee with West Ham for Mohamed Kudus, who we briefly mentioned it on the show earlier. West Ham under big pressure to sell. They did set a release clause of 85. Can you tell us how it works? Because if they've set a release clause of 85, is it purely because no one else has come in with a bid that they're almost reluctant to sell him at 55?
From what I've sort of heard and read around it, they need to sell. Yeah. He's probably their only asset that's actually... When you look at what they did last summer in the transfer window, the fact that he's their only asset that's worth big money is crazy, but that's the position they find themselves in. They need to raise money. He's probably the only player that wants to leave and will raise money, so you've just got to take to the highest bidder. And unfortunately, Arsenal are looking elsewhere. Chelsea have now looked elsewhere after trying earlier, so just got to squeeze Tottenham for all they're worth and then take what you can.
Yeah, 55 mil. It will be paid across 3 years, we understand from the show earlier. Obviously, he's a very good player. He was, priced a lot higher than 55. Maybe a year ago, we were talking about 80 at one point. At that stage, West Ham weren't really under pressure to sell, but financially now it's been a bit of a mess at West Ham for the last couple of years, financial years anyway, in terms of, still paying that rent at the stadium, and they've had a few big signings that just really haven't worked. And this time last year, everyone was saying, wow, look at West Ham's transfer window. But that's how quickly it can go from excitement and hype and almost faux belief to actually a year later they're having to sell one of their best players and they have to start all over again, really.
Yeah, it's a shame for West Ham because it seems to be almost every year that they go, we're going to get a progressive manager in, and here's Sebastian Haller, who just bagged like 30 goals in the Bundesliga. Yeah. Here's Skamaka, who's been linked with Arsenal and other big clubs. Here's Fulkrug, who just got into a Champions League final, and it sort of just for whatever reason just doesn't work. But yeah, it's big pressure for them now going into this season if they are going to lose Kudus, which it looks like it's going to happen, because it's a relegation battle now. Sunderland coming up are serious. I don't think it's going to be 3 up, 3 down again this year, so they need to find something. Yeah,
if you were West Ham as well, I mean, how long do you think Graham Potter's got at the start of this season? I mean, I wouldn't say he was clinging on to his job by the end of last season, but obviously they're going to back him in the window. Well, they haven't got much money, so he's going to have to do what he can in the window, and obviously, try and recoup a bit of that money for Kudus. But how long do you think he's got, in terms of his safety for his job if things don't start off well at West Ham next season?
Do you know what? I almost feel sorry for him because I think he's a really good manager, but I do think he's a project manager where he's going to need time to sort of implement his ideas and get his players in. But it does hit a point where if you're at Christmas and it's just give us time, this is going to work. But, you're in a relegation zone, you have to go and make that firefighter appointment. You look at Russell Martin last year, it was going really badly for him, but it was kind of we are playing nice football, like give us time, give us players, it will work. And it was like, well, we can't wait, like we're going to go down. So unfortunately, I think he hits that crossover point pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Kudus is obviously going to be a big loss to West Ham. And the question is, how much money will they have to actually reinvest in that team that Graham Potter will have next season? I mean, if they don't start well and things get on a bit on top, I know they're going to try and bring in Ramsdale. We'll speak about that in a bit later. But
see what Nicky's. I'd love to get Nicky's
thoughts. That's what I mean.
Has anyone got his number?
Yeah, of course I have. What, should we give him a little bell?
I want to know what he thinks of the Ramsdale links in the past. I think it's 18 million he's asked to leave, relegation clause.
I'll give him a bell, see what he's saying.
Because no one will sum it up better than us.
Shout out to everyone in the chat right now. Oh, straight to voicemail.
Oh, well, there you go. He might still be working.
Yeah, he probably is, to be fair. I'll give him a call on the old WhatsApp. But yeah, a couple of super chats coming in. He's unavailable straight away.
Well, there you go.
K. Prad says, what a signing in Noni by Arteta, visionary. Is that a sarcastic one? We'll find out.
Have you seen the poll? Not the signature thing. What they call petition. That's the one.
Yeah, that's mad.
It's about 3,000. It's in now.
That's mad.
That's too far.
It's too far.
That's too far.
It's just petulant, impatient fans, if you can even call them real fans, that have set that up. No,
I've seen people have been like, he had to turn his comments off on Instagram. People are sending him DMs, voice notes.
I don't like that. It's not good. Clara Bitsy, AGT, are you worried Chelsea might sneak in and sign Mark Gahey?
Would he go back?
I mean, I can't see him going back. Do Chelsea need another centre-back? Colwill, Tosin,
Chalobah,
Badashile, Fofana. I think they're good for centre-backs.
Yeah, you only play 2.
Yeah. Come on, Clara. We'll have that one. K. Praj then says, now the real question would be, will Saka start if Arsenal bring in Noni? Which we will speak about for sure. But West Ham fans, let us know in the chat, how do you feel about Kudus? He's leaving. Are there any rumours of players coming in? I know Aaron Cresswell has left today and gone to Stoke, the 35-year-old defender. So, tough times for West Ham. And how long into it? After 10 games, if he's only won 2 out of 10, there might be some massive knocks on the door to say your time's up.
Who do you look at? Yeah, you can't call on Moyes again now. You
can't go back to him because he's gone back to his other go-back-to club.
Yeah, his other old stomping ground.
Exactly. So, yeah, who do they actually need, do you think, West Ham?
What, player-wise?
Just whilst we're on them still. What do they need?
A lot. I mean, Fulkrug I actually think is a decent player. If he can stay fit, He struggled a lot last year. He seems like he actually cares as well, which is a big thing for the situation they're in. But yeah, you're looking at a midfielder. What happens with Paqueta? There's rumours he might leave. So you're looking at midfield, probably another centre back because they play a back three. Who's their left wing back? Is Emerson, and still got it for a full season. It's But then do you go for the young progressive signings to try and take you up the league, or do you try and firefight and just get the steady eddies to keep you up, and then you sort of get in that crossover again that they don't want to be in?
I think it would be a great timing, wouldn't it, if they unearthed another gem from the academy.
Yes.
Like another Declan Rice, that would be some going. But the squad is aging as well. It is aging. It's not a fresh young squad with legs. They are almost on the bare bones, and obviously Mikel Antonio still hasn't signed that new deal as well yet. So West Ham fans, tough times. Should not be entertaining Spurs. Heated debate over West Ham and Tottenham deal. Watch here, that's with Lawless and Nicky Hawkins on the Friday night beer show, I believe. So big up West Ham Fan TV. Nicky's actually going to be on DR very soon, so shout out to him as well.
How do you feel about Kudus going to Spurs? Do you think it's sort of dead now, that rivalry between the players? Obviously the fans still feel it, but do you think it's still there? Do you think he really...
Between West Ham and Spurs?
Yeah, do you think he's really sat there and thought, I can't really do that because it's a rival? Do you think he's just like,
He's not thought about that.
I don't really get it.
No. It's not that he doesn't get it, I'm sure. I mean, almost these days, you do wonder, especially with the players that maybe are coming from the depths of Europe or South America. Like if Liverpool are playing against... Okay, that's not a good example. Let's say West Ham, Tottenham, right? And you've got a player coming over from Mexico, like Herrera a couple of seasons ago. Who sits down with him, or does he already know, as they're in the change room for this game, they're going, hey, listen, big game today. This is our rivals. Like, smash them. Do you know what I mean? Who is that guy that tells them that stuff? Because I don't really think you get characters that still...
Yeah, they haven't got their noble anymore.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
And you haven't really got that many academy products in the team to do that either. At least if it's like a Liverpool, you've got like a Curtis Jones. So the minute you come in the door, we'll be like, look, like when we play the Everton, they might be lower down the league, and it might not feel like much to you, but to everyone else, it means a lot. So
yeah, no, it's a good point.
Or same with Man United. Like, we're not in the same city, but just so you're aware, over the past sort of 20, 30, 40 years, these are the guys.
Yeah.
Like, don't expect to do a lap of honour at the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely we're not getting that there. But I don't think he's aware of the rivalry. I mean, the last player to move between these clubs was Scott Parker 14 years ago. So it has been a while, but I still think, if he goes back to West Ham, do you think he gets booed?
100%.
Yeah?
I've seen some of the slander names they're putting out. They're calling him like traitor and everything.
Already?
Yeah, they're fuming with him.
But they need to sell. This is sometimes what I don't think the fans understand. Financially, West Ham, and they will be selling Paqueta as well. Like, they need to sell to bring in new players.
I think it's the headlines of like he only wanted Spurs, or the minute he spoke to Spurs, it was agreed quite quickly. They're like, come on, like.
Well, maybe there wasn't many, teams in for him. Maybe that's the case, and he has to just almost go with whoever has a bit of cash, really.
Yeah, it depends how he treats it when he turns up. If they do his announcement video and he's walking around the ground going, I love this club, huge club, I've always wanted to play for Spurs, I think that's when they... So I remember Declan Rice did a similar thing with Arsenal, and that's sort of what drove them.
And Declan Rice came through Chelsea's academy as well.
Yeah.
So, do you know what? These days, footballers, it's not like these days the footballers' parents pass down their team. I feel like teams these days, which isn't something I agree with basically, but they can be quite interchangeable. Like, you go to a team and you support that team, then you go to another team, you support that team now. Like, players don't really have their team anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Odegaard likes Liverpool.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he wants to beat you more than anyone else.
Yeah,
he probably doesn't care about you at all. If it was a neutral game, he probably now wants you to lose.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean. So Kudus going to Spurs. Let us know what you think about that one. Let's go to Arsenal. Christian Norgaard comes in. Sum that one up for us. I mean, number 16, he comes in as obviously a replacement for Jorginho. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Very tidy, very safe signing.
What James would say. Yeah. Very sensible signing. But yeah, look, midfielders out. Jorginho was there, played a handful of games. He was experienced. He was good in the dressing room. We've lost that. We've replaced it. Zubimendi's come in as well, so it's not like we've not strengthened there. It was just we needed a body. Yeah. We've got a body. 5 years in the Premier League, club captain, international experience. Sort of, he'll do a job. He's like your Endo, just fine. Yeah. Not going to play much, but
Yeah.
If there's a game where someone needs resting or someone comes off injured, he's more than good enough to step in. You're never going to expect him to start every game and be a star, but he's probably just going to be happy to do his job.
Yeah, I think when you look at the name, it might not be the sexiest, most attractive, in football terms, as Ty would say, name. But I think the type of player that you're referring to, an Endo, maybe a Matic back in the day, a Norgaard, that position is so underrated in football. And you ask any top manager if they need a player in there, and I will use the word need because it's not maybe a starter every single week. I know he was for Brentford and he did a great job as captain, but when you come to the Arsenal, it is different. And I still think any manager at a top club like Arsenal loves having a player like him in the team. I wouldn't put him in the James Milner category because he's a lot more experienced, Milner, but I feel like he could be almost a very safe option for Arsenal for the next 3 to 4 years. He's 31, but I think that's the word I'll use is safe.
Yeah, he's never going to complain about game time. If there's a Carabao Cup game and we're playing a load of sort of 17, 18-year-old academy products, he's a nice person, just have in the middle and just take him through it. He'll be on the sidelines, he'll be coaching people. It's just everything you want. You don't want... I was saying this to one of my Liverpool mates earlier. He was like, I don't know why you've not gone so much for a younger player with potential. But I think with this role, other than the leadership, you want someone that's been there, done that in case, because Arsenal are at a position now where it's win now.
Yeah.
So let's say we go to Anfield and Rice comes off injured. You don't want to bring on a 17-year-old with potential because he'll get eaten alive just by the atmosphere. You want someone that's been there, done that, might not be the quickest, but has experience will see him through, and hopefully that'll get you over the line with points, whereas potential isn't necessarily what we need right now.
Yeah, and I do think when you look at the profile of him, he scores headers, Arsenal, from set pieces.
We love set pieces.
Famously, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like in Hong Kong, by the way, seeing what corner tactic they come up with that time. But for 10 million quid, it's one of those signings that it's just nice.
Yeah, fine. Someone tweeted the other day, we don't need an announcement video, just add him to the squad registration, and then, good.
Did someone really say that?
Yeah, because for
him it's a dream. He's saying, oh my God, look, I get to hear the Champions League anthem. And you've got fans going, do you know what? Just literally, like you said, add him to the squad list. That's bag out of order. That.
Someone leaks a photo of him at the training ground, and they were like, it's going to take a few days for the social team to make their video. And they were like, just add him to the squad list, say Norgaard's here, and we'll just forget.
Just a selfie or something.
Hi guys, welcome to Arsenal. I'm happy to be here.
Excited to be here. Number 16 as well.
Yeah, big shoes to fill.
Rob Holding.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Any more 16s?
Ramsey.
Yeah, 16
before
and
he took 8.
Yeah, it's no one ever dreams of being a number 16, I'll be honest. But for him, as he is, I think he was 6 at Brentford, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the thing I don't understand, well I do understand it, Declan Rice wears 41 because it was a squad number.
Yeah,
but in my head,
Mendy's taken 36.
Yeah.
So we've got a 41-36 double pivot.
Yeah, but 41, I just see in my head Declan Rice as a number 4.
Yeah, well, he wears 4 for England.
Just take the 1 off. Who's number 4 for you?
Ben White.
I mean, he's not even a number 4. He should be number 2 in my head as a right back.
But he started centre back. We signed him as a centre back.
You did. But
yeah, I think it's the academy thing.
Why 36? Is that what you wore for Sociedad? He wasn't that.
I think he wore it when he broke through, and then went to 18,
There's not many
and
shirt
then
numbers
to
left
3.
to choose from.
I think what was he for Sociedad last season? 3, 4.
I think he was.
He was something real low.
3.
I think he had 36 when he first broke through. And he's gone back to it, but
yeah, he was 36 when he broke through. I can see it here, and then 3. So he obviously likes the 3, and he likes the 6, and he is a 6. So I guess it kind of together. Makes sense.
It's actually because when you add them up, it's 9. And what does Arteta love doing with his midfielders?
Oh, you're reading into it like that, yeah?
You can
That's crazy.
Move them up front now.
That's crazy. I mean, I would have thought like a number 17 or something. Obviously, Zinchenko's probably going to leave.
18. Well, 18's free, and he wears that for Spain.
There you go. 18 would have been perfect.
Because we sent Tommy Asu into the abyss the other day.
Oh,
Just
wow.
released him.
Jeez, that
a year left on his
yeah.
contract. But I'm sure it's like a mutually agreed thing of you can still train here, get yourself fit, and then find yourself a club whenever you want, rather than having to wait till you're out of contract next summer.
Yeah, but number 18. Anyway, we're messing around with shirt numbers because that's what we do pretty much as our jobs. But yeah, Christian Norgaard coming in. Noni Madueke. This one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even I got involved. I don't know if you saw, Jack, but online this morning I did the hashtag yes to Madueke.
Thanks. That's great.
Listen,
I've seen Matisse is getting heavily involved.
Matisse
he's tweeting Yargun as Yarb.
Yeah, Matisse is moving shameless out here, really. But yeah, I mean, look, that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke, right? But I do think it is over the top how he's had to turn his comments off, and that is when that happens. When someone turns the comments off, it's obviously an indicament of the time that we're living in. What that person must be going through: abuse. They're getting DMs, comments that they don't want. So when someone turns the comments off before they've even, played for the club, and he still might not even go, but it looks like this will go through.
Yeah.
How do you sum up, first of all, the initial reaction when you heard the links, which was a week ago, to now, where it looks like, shit, this is actually going to happen?
When I first heard it come through, I was sort of like, if it's cheap, I understand it. We've burnt out Saka for years. Our fans always complain that we never ever buy a right winger for depth. We looked at Leroy Sané, we looked at Mbeumo, so it's clearly something we've been trying to do. So I was like, if we can get him for £30 million, I think he's homegrown. I'm not sure.
Let me look it up.
Because he was at Spurs and then PSV, so I don't know whether he counts as homegrown. Anyway, I thought, if you 30 million doesn't really affect the rest of our business, fine. But when I'm hearing 55 and
not classed as homegrown.
Not classed as homegrown.
Born in Barnet though.
Well, there you go. So they sort of hits a point where if it's 55 million, does that mean we're then not signing someone else? Or does it mean that we're sort of readdressing our priorities? Like, I'd hate for it to get to a point where it's Real Madrid put Rodrygo up for sale, they'll take 70 mil, and it's Arsenal have already done Madueke and Eze, they haven't got the budget for that, and you miss out. So my grievance isn't with the player. I think he's a good player. I like him. I'd take him at Arsenal. I've got no problems with Noni Madueke being an Arsenal player. I have an issue with the club potentially throwing 55, 60 million pounds at him when we know we need other things in the squad. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's not a player thing. I think a lot of Arsenal fans out there are the same, where it's not, we don't like Madueke, we really don't want Saka back up, we think he'll do a bad job. I think it's just why are we giving Chelsea 55 million for a guy that realistically there's no possibility that he starts for us week in, week out, unless he becomes a left winger.
And I asked Ty this question yesterday: what is it that Arteta and his footballing people, Berta and whatnot, what is it they see in him? Yes, he's obviously got promise, but to add him into this squad where, again, you were linked with the Leaos, the Rodrigos, the replacements really for Martinelli. I don't see how it makes sense at all if this is the only signing. If this isn't the only signing and they go out and get an Eze and a Gyökeres, then you can deal with it. But I think I asked Robbie earlier how much he'd like to pay for him, and he said he values him around 35. So I understand that Arsenal fans come September the 1st might look and go, that could work out to be a good signing. They obviously threw the dice and rolled them at Sterling last year. It didn't work from Chelsea. But if they do manage to, almost get the bigger, more household names in as well, then you can go, okay, but 50 mil, 55 mil, it does seem like for a backup.
Yeah.
And he won't want to be the backup, by the way. In his head, he's going there to fight for his place. But it is a lot of money considering everything else you still need to do.
It's a lot of money. The reason they like him, I think, is because he kind of fills what we need. Like, if you look at Arsenal, we need a left winger. We need someone that can cover right wing. He can do both of those. We're also not very direct. We don't really take on our man a lot. We don't sort of dribble directly. We don't drive at the opposition. We're not great in transition. And they're all things that Madueke can bring to Arsenal. But again, it's going to be an off-the-bench thing, or if he fancies being a left-footed left winger and going a bit more old school. So again, the idea of him, great. The fee and what it means for the rest of the summer, not great. But what I would say to Arsenal fans is, don't have a meltdown over him until September the 1st. Look back at the window, and if it's we got Madueke, we didn't even go for Rodrygo, and Eze didn't happen, fine, have a meltdown. But don't go at him now when we don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the window.
Yeah, it's a great shout. Fabrizio Romano, just in. Morgan, Gibbs-White to Tottenham. Here we go. Spurs trigger the £60 million release clause after direct contact with Forest today. Medical booked and set to take place in 24 hours, as per Mike McGrath at the Telegraph Football. Following the Kudus deal done, this is massive moves for Spurs projects. We were just speaking about this, but now it's official. Morgan Gibbs-White will move to London and will move to Tottenham Hotspur after triggering that £60 million release clause today. So once again, Spurs fans, I know we started off the show with this, but it is now official, or it's been given the Fabrizio official stamp. It's been given the here we go, essentially. 60 mil. And again, shows how
they're moving,
intent they are in making moves in this window and preparing themselves for a new era and a new, revitalised chapter for next season.
Yeah, that kind of hurts. That's a good signing. Kudus and Gibbs-White added to Maddison, Kulusevski is good business. And it must say something about this Thomas Frank era already, that they're convincing these names to come. I mean, this broke like 2 hours ago and they've already got on the phone to him, convinced him, made contacts and got the here we go. So they must be selling a pretty decent project. And I can't lie, if I was a player, I'd want to play for Thomas Frank. As much as the minute he was linked with Spurs, please don't go there. I actually quite like Thomas Frank. Yeah. So
I actually had him down one day to potentially be a Liverpool manager in the future. I do think he's that kind of character, or his mythologies and his plans of what he wants to do. I really enjoy watching his teams, and him bringing in Morgan Gibbs-White, you can see before a ball's been kicked in pre-season, he's already planning out what he wants his starting 11 and probably his backup 11 as well to be. And they're going to have so many options. So listen, very exciting time for Tottenham. Let us know in the chat, how exciting a time is this for the North Londoners.
It gives them different options as well, doesn't it? I think one thing that Ange got criticised for so much was that he never adapted, never changed his team, never changed his tactics. And one thing that you praise Frank for quite a lot is, we'll play a back five when we're playing Liverpool, and then when we're playing like a smaller team, we'll go to a back four and we'll shift things around. So with the options he's got now, he'll probably be very adaptable and a lot more difficult to play against.
Yep, Thomas the Frank Engine says Kicks TV in the chat. Better than any Arsenal signing, says Martin. And Frank is a top manager, says Kicks TV. Frank is the real deal. Grab Kudus and now Morgan Gibbs-White in 2 days. This is it's quite something in terms of the spend, quick. The intent, and they are.
What's happening with Daniel Levy?
Kurt Adams says Spurs window looking better than Arsenal's at the minute. We'll see by the end of the window. I don't know. Is he had a few drinks? Has he got a bit loose
Daniel Levy's seen a 60 mil release clause and thrown the bag at it. That's not very. It's not very Daniel.
No,
but
yeah. So listen, that's a massive one for Tottenham Hotspur. And once again, that's going all over the internet right now in terms of Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham. Rodrygo. This has been a mythical one, really, because people are trying to work out whether he stays or goes. But the direct meeting for Rodrygo's future will take place next week, as Real Madrid are open to letting him leave. Obviously, he was on the bench yesterday for the 5th consecutive game in the Club World Cup. Obviously, there have been links with Arsenal, but each game, I think, has put out, them graphics to say that I'm playing.
He's clearly got a social media manager, though. I don't know why people are losing their minds on it.
White Yardie was like, he definitely doesn't want to come Arsenal. Just
you think he's gone in Photoshop, made a bespoke poster and tweeted it? I don't think he's done that.
I can't see it, to be honest. But, I mean, look, if they're open to letting him leave, we did hear from sources in Spain throughout the early parts of the transfer window as well, when we knew that a big name was open to leaving Real Madrid this summer. It seems like this is the big name that might be open to leaving Real Madrid this summer. There's still so much work to do on this. If they do approach it, it's got to be done very carefully. You won't go to Al Nassr. It's never been an option. So full focus on Europe. And should Arsenal be waiting in the wings for this one if they get the right signals?
I think it's almost the banker of, we need an upgrade at left wing. You've got a guy there who wants to leave Real Madrid because he wants to play left wing and he wants to play every game. I don't think it could make more sense. And I think, again, going back to Madueke, that's sort of the question marks. Are you forfeiting the Rodrygo thing already when you've not even tried? Hopefully not, but yeah, it's one of them ones you got to go for. I think actually City going for it as well, maybe Chelsea too. Whatever happens with Luis Diaz, would you go for it?
That's it. That's my follow-on question. I mean, there were rumours today of Luis Diaz handing in transfer requests. I don't believe those sources, if I'm honest. But if there is some rumblings there, and that is maybe an option that Liverpool and Luis Diaz are exploring, then Rodrygo would be available. I do remember seeing a clip of Rodrygo on a podcast. Do you remember that?
No.
And it was him and the Madrid players saying in training, like they'd say, make Salah cry, and you know, because we've just played them so much, 7 times in 7 years we played them, and he was, you know, telling some stuff about, saying some stuff about Salah. So I'm not sure, but if he goes, if Diaz goes, I mean, do you know what? Rodrygo is obviously a good player, but
do you think Diaz goes?
No, I actually don't think he does go this summer.
From what I sort of read, it was more of a, not a transfer request, but it's I don't really earn a lot of money, and I've got 2 years left of my contract, so a new contract, or please let me leave.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of. I don't think it's like I want to go. It's I'm going to need what I'm worth because I've only got 2 years left.
I think it's more that as well. I do think it's more that as well, if I'm honest. And actually, you know, he was at the week on Mass in Portugal last night for Diogo Jota. So, you know, there's a lot on his mind right now, and I haven't believed the stuff that's come out really until I hear it from him. And I did hear from him in a clip the other day where he said with someone at somewhere, he said, yeah, I'm very calm and very happy at Liverpool. So I do think it's more like the agents going, look, Barca are interested, Bayern are interested, and we're going, well, it's all right, we're going to offer you a deal, and they're going, well, hurry up, because I think it's one of them.
Yeah.
I do think he does sign. But Rodrygo, I think, is not going to move to Liverpool. It's definitely Arsenal, the club. It's looking like if he does leave Real Madrid, what would you be happy, or what would be a good deal for both clubs?
I think they've said 90 million euros, which is what, like 72 million pounds ish. That's what all the reports, and I think that's more than fair enough for him. No,
77.
That's 77. So I think that's fair enough. That's what I'd be happy to pay that for him. Look, again, we're talking about players that don't necessarily get in the Chelsea team going for 55, 60. Your Eze's, your Kuduses, all that sort of level player going for 65. So our Rodrygo for 75 is fine with that. And look, we've got a really good relationship with Real Madrid, so hopefully that wasn't soured last season and we can maybe get it done. But
would you ever look at Anthony Gordon at Arsenal?
Do you know what? David Ornstein always mentions him. Even when no other media place is talking about him, he'll always drop into conversation. Oh, by the way, they admire Gordon as well. So I don't know. I can't figure him out. I can't figure out whether he is world class waiting to explode or whether he is just a very direct, very good winger. I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans sort of debating that as well. Of like, is he the one for you, or?
Yeah, for me personally,
he's on that level where like,
yeah, I know exactly
he's
what
kind of between it.
Yeah, for me personally, I wouldn't. I mean, 100 mil. There's no chance.
Oh no, not for that.
No chance. And I think Luis Diaz is better than him, for sure. I do. Yeah. Chelsea and Bournemouth remain in talks over a deal for George Petrovic. The continuation of the conversations around the structure of the offer from Bournemouth is undergoing. Chelsea want more guaranteed payments as opposed to add-ons and bonuses, and they want at least 25 mil for the 25-year-old keeper. Said to be keen on the move. I actually thought he was quite good for Chelsea until the whole goalkeeper merry-go-round started.
Where was he last year? Was he Strasbourg last year?
Yeah.
Their like second club.
I thought he was actually really good.
Yeah, he's fine. Chelsea need to just find a keeper that's good at football and sign him. Like this Maignan thing where they're haggling over a bit of money and apparently they've walked away.
Yeah.
Just get it done. You've got Robert Sanchez, Jorgensen, Petrovic. You've released Bergstrom. You've got that bloke that was bent on loan to America. They've got so many keepers and none of them are quite cutting the grade. Just buy a number one that's going to last you for sort of 5-10 years.
Well, they thought they did that with Kepa. Their goalkeeping and
72 million
as well. Their
Mendy as well
have been hit and miss, to say the very least. But yeah, I can see why he wants to move. Gets guaranteed football there. Listen to this one, Jack. Edin Dzeko.
Player.
Unveiled as a Fiorentina striker.
Most underrated players of all time.
Oh my word. What a career this fella is having, by the way.
One of the most underrated strikers I've ever seen in the Prem.
I really do agree with you. He's 39. What is it with Serie A?
Was he Fenerbahce?
Yeah, he was just at Fenerbahce. He's gone to Wolfsburg, City, Roma, Milan, Fenerbahce, Fiorentina. He was at Inter Milan for a good 2 years as well, and then Fenerbahce 2 years. He likes the old 2-year stint, really. He was at City for 5 years. But, yeah, I mean, what is it with Serie A teams? Modric is going to go to Milan. He's 40.
Yeah. I think the football suits him.
I don't know any other league that buys players as old as this?
So I think football's a bit slower. It's probably easier to sort of coax them over. It's a bit more tactical. Modric, come over. It won't be so taxing on you for a bit. Do a couple of years here. I mean, who's in the line got them? They had Arnautovic, didn't they, as a backup? He's got to be like 36, 37. You're seeing, even like going all the way back, like the Luca Tonis, like all these late bloomers that come through. Sort of, they're either Italian or playing in Italy.
The age on them is unbelievable. Big up to him and his agent.
Miroslav Klose was there for a while. Mario Gomez was there for a while. Anyone that's old.
Yeah. Some great shouts there. Staying in Italy, Napoli do not want Garnacho, as the Napoli president De Laurentiis said. He hasn't released a statement or an interview about him, but they're also known to be not working on the Garnacho deal at this stage. And I mean, they've got their eyes on so many different players, Napoli.
Nunes
Garnacho's not going there. Nunes obviously still in talks, but I think I actually think Nunes' granddad died just before Jota died, so it's been a really emotional, heavy couple of weeks for him, and you can kind of see it. When he's been pictured recently. So that one could still be open, but I do think this one, I mean, Napoli, Garnacho would probably like the move, but that's not happening now, is it?
Yeah, he's in an unfortunate position where he's kind of tanked his stock a little bit by sort of
self-inflicted
being so vocal about how he wants out and how he's not happy, that sort of clubs are going to be looking at him being like, well, if United aren't that keen on keeping you, then there's got to be something here. Like Rashford the other day started putting out the training photos, like, the LinkedIn open to work.
Literally that, let us know where you think Garnacho goes. And if you have just joined us, the breaking news is that Gibbs-White to Spurs is done. They have triggered that £60 million release clause, and the medical will be booked into tomorrow. And it could be as soon as tomorrow that we see him holding up the shirt. But Tottenham are making moves in this window, and they are looking like they mean business in this window as well.
What do you reckon their target is for next year? Top 4?
Yeah.
Frank's first season, get us in the top four,
get in the top 4.
Build from
I
there.
don't think I ever know any Tottenham fan that goes into the season saying title charge this year. The absolute minimum for Spurs should be top 4.
Yeah, they've got to go minimum. For it.
Just that they need it. Financially to pay for that stadium, they definitely need it. We will see. But it looks very good and very exciting right now for Tottenham Hotspur. Why is that guy wearing a toilet roll shirt? Toilet roll shirt?
Is that me or you?
I don't even know, to be honest.
If it's yellow and brown, see a doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, listen, that's the big news. That's the breaking news in this video. Tottenham going all in for Morgan Gibbs-White. We've touched on, obviously, that story, as well as Kudus going to Tottenham Hotspur now as well. Arsenal signing Norgaard. Bit of an update. It's alleged that Rodrygo's future is now almost semi-determined, in the fact that Real Madrid are quite open to letting him leave. The asking price is around about 77 mil there. Bournemouth want Petrovic, as we know. Napoli definitely don't want Garnacho, because at the minute it doesn't seem like anyone does, alongside Rashford as well. And that is your gossip for today, really, on the Live at 5 transfer show on DR Sports. Give me one transfer just before we go, Jack, that you think is nearing. Give me a hot take transfer that's coming up.
One that I think is nearing is probably Noni Madueke to Arsenal.
Not that one, though. Let's think maybe in 2 weeks' time. It's a hot take.
A proper rogue.
Yeah. And we'll see if it actually happens. See what your knowledge is like.
Put some in the chat as well, because that's put me on the spot there.
Nunes to Napoli is there.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Isaac to Liverpool is a massive hot take. No,
I'm not even going to speak that into existence.
You're not entertaining that, are you?
I could see you going for Ekitike.
Okay,
Isaac,
I like that.
I think you'll pick up the phone to Newcastle, say hello, we're interested in Isaac, and they go.
So they pick up the phone.
They pick up the phone because they're nice people over there, and then they say 3 years left on his contract, whatever it is. 150 million to speak to him, and then 40 just for the trouble, and then you go, who's close to Isaac? Ekitike, sort of
80,
little bit lanky. Pick up the phone to Frankfurt, get that done.
Yeah, get that done. All right, I like that. I'll go with that then as well. All right, sweet. Douglas Luiz to Spurs there as well. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
You got one for my club?
LFC?
Don't say Madueke, please.
Rodrygo.
Oh, thank you.
I think this will heat up, and I do think if you pressured me right now, where would Rodrygo be next season? I think it will be Arsenal.
What do you think is the maximum Arsenal do? Let's say Madueke comes in and we want Eze and we want Rodrygo and we want Gyökeres. Which of those? Can all four of them happen?
God, no.
That puts you at like 300 million. But apparently,
no.
But Gyökeres looks like it's going to happen. Like a striker will.
Yeah. I think it would be Madueke, Gyökeres and Rodrygo, and Eze doesn't go.
You think?
Yeah. But if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't want Madueke, I'd want Eze.
Yeah.
So there it is. Right, listen, thank you so much, guys, for watching the show as always. This is DR Sports, the home of sportainment, right? Tomorrow we've got Best of Enemies as well, so make sure you stick around for that. And we'll be back on Monday, of course, with the weekend roundup show, which will include a champion of the galaxy. I don't want that term to start ringing off.
It's in Space Jam. We've not played.
Yeah. We're not playing Space Jam. So, but unfortunately, Chelsea could potentially be the world champions. But allez Paris, obviously, and we'll see you Monday. Jack, big up in the bruised banana. Appreciate it again, mate. And I'll see you next week. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not here.
I'll
see you the week after.
Where are you going again?
Turkey.
Very nice.
Going scouting. See if Osimhen fancies it.
See if Osimhen fancies it. Thought you were going to say something else there, but no, it's all good. Right, smash that like button, people. On the way out, make sure you comment. Wish Jack a good holiday.
A safe flight.
And we will see you next time. Take care. All the best.